What's up, everybody? David Yang here again with Home Sellers. I want to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Real Talk, where I talk about real estate. So in this week's episode, I'm going to be talking about foreclosures, okay? I've been getting a lot of calls from homeowners either going through foreclosure or not sure about the process, and I kind of want to clear things out here, okay? So what is a foreclosure? So generally, a foreclosure is when a lender is trying to take back a property from a homeowner, and the homeowner has defaulted in some way, okay? So generally, the main reason why the lender would want to take it back is the homeowner has defaulted by not making mortgage payments. Most of the times, that's the main cause. Now, there's other types of foreclosures that can happen as well, but generally, that's the one we commonly see. So every state is going to be a little bit different since every state kind of controls their own foreclosure process a little differently. But overall, they're pretty similar. So I'm going to speak about the state where I'm from, Minnesota, our process here. So generally, the foreclosure process has a few pieces to it, okay? So you have the pre-foreclosure process. So that's the process in which where you say you are the homeowner and you stop making payments. The lender will send out reminders to you saying, hey, make your payment. Hey, make your payment. Hey, make your payment. So after a certain amount of time, it's totally up to the lender, and they can go ahead and file a motion to start a foreclosure proceeding, okay? So they will generally file that in the county where the property is located. So when they do that, it becomes public knowledge because they're now starting a lawsuit against the homeowner. So they're going to file that, and then they're going to schedule what's called a sheriff's sale. So at a sheriff's sale, there's going to be bidders there, okay? And the first bidder is going to be the bank. They're going to have the opening bid, or the lender. They're going to have the opening bid. And then the public might be invited there to bid as well. Because again, it's going to be public knowledge that on this date, this property is going to be auctioned off at the sheriff's sale, okay? So if somebody buys it at the sheriff's sale, they take the place of the lender. Now, if nobody buys it at the sheriff's sale, then the lender gets the property back. So once the sheriff's sale is over, the property goes into the redemption period. So within the redemption period, kind of like what the name says, the homeowner still has the opportunity to redeem the property. And by redeeming, generally the only option is they have to pay it off, okay, plus all the fees and all the accumulated legal costs and everything like that, plus any interest, or they have to sell the property to be able to pay it off. So in the pre-foreclosure process, they still might be able to work with the bank and, try to do some kind of loan modification, or work something out with the bank. But once it goes to a sheriff's sale and it's sold at the sheriff's sale, generally the only option after that is to redeem the property. And again, it's either redeeming through, coming up with money to pay it off or to sell the property. Once the redemption period is over and the homeowners have not redeemed the property, they usually have a very short amount of time before the sheriff comes and evicts them. So the sheriff will physically come and evict them out of their property. And then once that's done, the bank has ownership, or the lender has ownership of the property again. And the homeowner is now, without the property. So that is the main process of how the timeline of foreclosures generally work here in Minnesota. Again, all across the country, it's a little bit different, but generally similar, okay? Now, how can you use this knowledge to help you, especially if you are a homeowner going through this, right? Because it can be kind of scary. You're getting all these letters, you haven't made payments, and you're like, okay, I don't know who to call. I don't know, what resources are out there. I don't know what my options are, right? So generally, there are a lot of options to you, okay, or for you. Now, if you start sooner in the process, there's going to be more options. But the later you wait to get help to start working, on this issue, the less options you will have. Again, I'm just going to go through some right now. So in the pre-foreclosure process, just like what I said earlier, is you can still work with the bank, okay? The bank will probably, try to work out some kind of payment plan with you to try to get you back on track. But the key for you as the homeowner is to call the bank and start that dialogue with them, start that communication with them. Don't just ignore the letters. Don't just throw the letters in the trash and hope that it's going to go away, okay? You don't want to do that. Reach out to the lender and try to work with them. Now, if it goes to the sheriff's sale, you can try to buy it yourself at the sheriff's sale. If you are the homeowner and you have enough cash, you can try to buy it yourself at the sheriff's sale. Now, I wouldn't necessarily suggest that, okay? And if you have questions about that, you want to really consult an attorney. But that could be a possibility as well, all right? Now, once the sheriff's sale is over and you are in the redemption period, again, in Minnesota here, it's generally about 6 months. Now, it could be a little bit longer, it could be a little bit shorter, depending on the circumstances. There's all these weird little rules and stuff, but it's generally about 6 months, okay, for the redemption period. Now, again, if you start sooner in the redemption period, you might be able to sell that property if that's the only option that you have. But if you wait until you only have 1 month left, or only a few weeks left, or a few days left, then selling that property might be very difficult, okay? Because generally, if you think about it, the fastest I've seen a property sell is usually around 3 months. That's about the normal speed at which a property sells is around 3 months. Okay. You list it. Maybe it takes about a month. Okay. And then, it takes about another, 35 to 45 days for a closing, plus all of the inspections and appraisals and all that stuff. So give yourself about 3 months if you're planning to sell the property. But again, if you start sooner in the process, you have a higher chance of retaining your property, staying in your property. But as the time goes on and as the timeline shortens, your options become less and less and less, to the point where you might have to sell it. And again, if you have to sell it, you don't want to wait until the last month or the last week or even the last day. I've helped people where on the last 3 days, they come to me and they're like, David, help me come up with a solution. We have been able to help quite a few of them, but some of them we're not able to help just because it just doesn't make sense. Now, with properties, prices, and values the way they are, selling a property might not be that difficult. But again, it really depends on your own situation and how much equity you have in the property. So for you, if you are going through this type of problem or this type of an issue, then again, you want to consult with a professional as early as possible. Now, there's a lot of other programs out there to help people stay in their homes. Okay, maybe you want to reach out to an attorney. You want to reach out to your county, to your city, to see if they have any foreclosure relief programs. You can even reach out to a real estate agent. Now, one thing that you have to be cautious of is a lot of real estate agents talk about themselves as foreclosure experts, but a lot of them don't know anything about foreclosures, okay? So you want to be very cautious of the professional that you're taking advice on, okay? So for you guys, again, start as soon as possible, all right? Do not wait until the last day or the last month or the last week. The sooner you start working on this issue, the more options you will have. So that was a really quick rundown on foreclosures, how you can help yourself if you are a homeowner, and some options for you. Now, if you have questions about foreclosures, you can reach out directly to me. But if you don't have any other questions, then I will see you guys on the next episode of Real Talk.